I need my
Which
quiz. Eduardo.
Ah.
Thanks.
All right, guys, so on the answer key, I did this, what I call by hand. Are you with me? Don't get excited. The opposite of by hand is not in the calculator. The opposite of by hand is using a matrix, which is still by hand. So I think hopefully you'll figure that out. So, everybody, I go into this matrix knowing what the answer is going to be, which is nice. And once I show you how to do it in the calculator, you could do it and go into it knowing what the answer is supposed to be there too. User error is horrible. You put one negative in wrong or something, and the calculator spits out 1.78467. You're like, oh. So you have to be careful. Okay, so let's copy this sucker down into a matrix. And I know you guys have split personality at the moment. You're like, show me more examples I don't understand, but stop, I don't want to see them anymore. Probably leaning a little more towards the stop, but so I think at this point I don't have to ask you. Everybody should know how to get this sucker into a matrix. All right. So if you came in after I gave out stuff, just come up and see me after class. I'll give it to you. Now again, everybody, when I do these examples, I do normally start with the first column. You don't have to, but do you see why the first column is not a bad choice? There's a 1 there already, right? Yes. Thank you. So how do I use that 1 efficiently? What do I want to do with that 1? What do I want to do with this row? I mean, how am I going to use that 1? Do what? Yeah, if I multiply this row by 2. If I multiply this row by 2, it'll cancel this spot when I add those 2 rows together. Exactly the same idea as what we did when we had elimination with equations. Why is that? Because that's exactly what this represents. So if I take twice row 1 plus row 2 and put the answer in, I like it, because that's where I want the 0 to show up. You don't have to write this exactly like this, but if you don't write anything like this and you make a mistake and I can't see where the hell, you're going to lose more points. If I can follow you and I can see where the mistake came from easier, you're going to get more partial credit. So I would choose that way. So me, being crazy, now if you want to, you can rewrite the matrix if that makes you feel better. And I showed you an example yesterday about what that looks like. I really, really want you to realize I don't need to rewrite it. I just need these numbers for a minute, right? I'm just going to double all of these. Let me put the answer down here. So what do I get in that second row? 2 minus 2. That's not a surprise. That's the whole thing I was trying to do. Negative 4 plus 1. 8 plus 1. 16 minus 4. 12. And for right now, I'm just going to rewrite both equations. I think some of you can pick up on the fact I can cross these out and multiply the first row by negative 5, so I can kill that and eliminate 1 iteration of writing the damn matrix out. And the reason I try to go straight to the shortcut is because it's a little bit of buy-in from students. You got to buy into this method a bit. And if I'm rewriting the matrix over and over, your brain's going to go, that's a lot of work. I don't see the reason. And I would blame you. Bless you.
Thank you.
So let me just rewrite everything. Okay. Whoa, I forgot I was so zoomed in. It's kind of like... Now, like I just gave it away, but what this column is not done. Still a 5 here. So what am I going to do to kill it? Yeah, I'm going to do negative 5 times row 1. Plus row 3. Put the answer into row 3. I like it. So again, I'm going to put next to this, I'm not going to rewrite the whole matrix, I'm just going to write next to it what it would be. So this would be negative 5, this would be positive 10, negative 20, negative 40. Multiplying each thing by negative 5. And now when I add it, I'll get 0, 10 plus 1, 11, negative 20 plus negative 3, negative 40 plus 6, 34, yeah. Good job, Jeff. Showing off my awesome adding skills. Oh, I almost hit it down there, but so that's doing this stuff to it. Now, I really want to quickly show you something. Yeah, okay. What does that row mean? What does that row mean? No. What does that row mean? Negative 3y plus 9z, I like, equals 12. And this row, of course, is 11y minus 23z equals the negative 34. Or z. Z is just funner. Or more fun if you like grammar. Look here. When I did this by hand, negative 3b plus 9c. Oh, of course, it's ABC. Shit, I forgot it was ABC. X, Y, Z, who cares? I get negative 3, 9, 12. Negative 3, 9, 12. And I got 11, negative 23, negative 34. 11, negative 23. So, I mean, the matrix is just a more efficient way of writing this same math down. That's it. That's all it is. Focusing on the coefficients because they're really the only things that matter. They're the things that determine how do I kill this. All right. Now come at me with what you're trying to say. What could I do with this row? And why is that doubly good? I'm making all the numbers smaller, but I'm also making a 1 here. That kicks ass. So I'm going to do, what did we just say? Row 2 divided by negative 3 to put the answer in row 2. I'll show you a few steps here. Alright, so then I get 1, negative 2, 4, 8, 0, 1, negative 3, negative 4, 0, 11, negative 23. Let me say this now because I'm going to say it several times. When you do a matrix problem on the test, I am not going to grade really harshly on did you get exactly the right answer. I'm going to grade harshly on do you understand the process used. Because I trust me, right? You're like, let me tell you a little story about going uphill both ways. So taking math and you're all, you chose math, Jeff, but we did like 8 by 8, 8. And you make one little mistake, the whole thing is shit. And the teacher's like, the whole thing is crap. You got to get the right answer. What's more important to me is do you understand the process? And if you forget a negative, that is bad, but it's not relatively that bad. It's more important you understand the process. So don't just erase everything, especially if you're running out of time. Give me something to look at that shows me you understand the process. And you're like, I don't know why I keep getting 2014 divided by 99. Well, leave it. Out of time. Leave it. Don't erase it. Show me. Work showing me that you understand the process. Okay. I'm sorry. Do you see how I did this problem? Part A, part B? So, the short answer is yes. So I'm going to ask you specifically do it one way or the other, or maybe both ways. Yeah, shit. Okay. I will never say just use the calculator. Because that ain't you. Alright, now, The first column's done, right? And now my second column, I got this beautiful one right in the right place. It's kind of lucky. But then I can use this one to kill that, right? I'm going to sort of speed up a little bit. Let me know if I'm going too fast. I just want to... Because once you do a column, you do the same thing. You do the same thing. It's crazy. Right? I mean, that's... So here, I'm going to multiply this by 2 to kill the 2 here. So I'm going to do row 2 times 2 plus row 1, put the answer in row 1. So I get 1, 0, negative 6 plus 4, negative 2, negative 8 plus 8, 0. And then I get 0, 1, negative 3, negative 4. Does that sound right? Yes. And then I can use this one to kill the 11. I can multiply everything in here by what? Negative 11. So it's negative 11 times row 2 plus row 3 to row 3. Sort of sounds like chess moves. The bishops. And then, oh shit, just go this way, Jeff. 0 plus 0 is 0. Negative 11 plus 11 is 0. 33 minus 23 is 10. 44 minus 34 is 10. That looks promising. Okay. Now, in the interest of time, I'm going to divide by 10. Right? Get 1 there. So I can divide that row by 10. And now I can use that one to kill those. And I'm hoping you guys are okay with me going a little faster, because guess what I'm doing? The same things I was doing in the first column. That's the beauty of the matrix. Once you get the idea, multiply, add, get a 0. Multiply, add, get a 0. Repeat, right? Wash, rinse, repeat. So now, let me see if I can do 2 of these at once. Maybe there's a 0 in the way, it's going to suck. So if I multiply this by 2... and add it to the first row, I'll get 1, 0, 0, 2. And if I multiply this row here by 3, and add it to the second row, 0, negative 1, 0, 0, 1, 1. Oh, sorry guys. Somebody should yelp out. You're writing shit, but we don't know. I did that last one really fast. I'm sorry, but... multiply by this bar by 2 to kill that. Multiply this row by 3 to kill that. Same idea. Same idea. And did I get the same answer? Thank the gods. It's always fun as a teacher to have, I got a different answer. Oh, I suck. Oh, shit. All right. Since I didn't have that in the answer key, I want to get that done real fast. Now we can focus. Oh, let me show you how to do this in the calculator. If you don't have a calculator, just I'll have some in the lab if you want to try it out in there. Okay, it's a little too much in here. Ooh, well, you need to be able to see buttons, Jeff. That's a good point. You guys see a button that seems to be perfect where we want to do? It's not really a button, it's like above a button. Matrix. So if I hit second, this button, I go to matrix. Oh, scheisse. So I call matrices, what we normally call matrices, we use capital letters to refer to different matrices. I could have matrix A, matrix B, matrix C. I can add them together, do all kinds of weird stuff. So this is just how to get a matrix. I haven't made a matrix yet, so I've got to go to edit to make it. So if I go over to edit, you might have some stuff here maybe, right? If you're using somebody else's calculator or in your imagination as you follow me, I don't know. So I hit enter, I can edit matrix A and I can make it how big I need it to be. Now, I sometimes call it a 3 by 3, and that's just the accepted way to say 3 systems with 3 unknowns. 3 equations, 3 unknowns. How big is the matrix really, though? It's 3 rows by 4 columns because it's got the answers added on. So I want this to be a 3 by 4. Pop! Just decrease you a little bit, that would be awesome. Not too bad. All right. So now I just start popping it in there. So let's see, where's my, there it is. So I'm just going to start putting this matrix in there. 1, -2, 4, 8, -2, 1, 1. What sucks is if you have an older one, you can't see the whole thing. It kind of goes off the screen, but you just have to keep going. It'll go there. Where'd it go? 5, 1, -3, 6. Is that cool? That's the matrix we just worked with, right? And you always got to double check. User error is so much fun. Let's see, 5, 1, okay. So I've got the matrix in there. And again, this is not a skill I'm going to require you to have. But if you're going into like pre-calculus and beyond, you want to start messing with this kind of stuff. Now do me a favor. Now if you're doing this with me, hit second mode to quit. Matrix stuff is a little clunky on this. Then you go back to matrix again. So hit second, this button. Go back to matrix. And now I want to do stuff to it, right? I want to do some math to the matrix. So I'm going to go to the math. Morpheus, I want to do math to it. And then, now, I don't know if you guys remember. Do you remember the weird-ass name? It was 4 words. And I'll start. It was row reduced. And then the nifty word, echelon form. RREF, row reduced echelon form. So if you go down, you'll see RREF, row reduced echelon form. Hit enter, and this is so exciting. You got to go back into the matrix and go, I want this one. So you got to tell it row reduce A. If you hit enter, look at that shit. Damn, costs $100. It better do that fast. Okay, and again, this is not valid for putting answers down. If you don't know how to do it, you just put this answer out of nowhere, you will still lose all the points. Right? I don't care. This is a great way to check it. This is a great way to know ahead of time what to look for, bless you. You with me? So halfway through, if you get y, or in this case, b equals 7 over 11, you know you can stop and go back. You did something wrong. Okay. So in lab today, tomorrow, if you have lab after class on Thursday, I'm sorry. I don't know what to tell you. If you have questions about this, you can come up and see me after class.
Question.
Any questions right now about that, if you're curious about using it? Yes?
Did you see that zipper again?
Which part? Is that cool? Higher?
Yeah, it's good.
Okay. Yes? So guys, hold up. If I ask you to use a matrix, you have to. Yep. Yes?
Can you show me how to enter it again?
Oh, sure. All right, give me 1 minute here. So the key button is right above x to the -1. It's matrix right there. So you hit second, that button. Go to edit.
Y3 times 4.
How many rows in this matrix? 3. How many? 3. How many columns? There you go.
Got it.
3 by 4.
Okay, okay.
Okay. Is that cool?
Yeah, and he said next.
Huh?
And he said next.
Oh, okay. Then you hit enter. Hit enter for the edit.
All right.
You're on the edit.
Okay, got that.
not,
Oh, so he says, what I have, does it look the same?
Oh,
Real quick.
oh. You can't fit the whole matrix on the screen, on the old ones. And you have to put the numbers in that you want. Okay.
it's not giving me the answer, the right number.
A. Go to edit. Select A. Doesn't really matter which one you use, to be honest. All right, guys. So, Sean, if you have, see me after class real quick if you want, if you have something more specific. Now, in the time left, I just want to open it up to anything else you guys want to discuss. Based on the quiz, I thought there might be some questions about absolute value inequalities. Number 2 was a bear, or a different B word. So guys, to give you, I kind of focused on a certain way to do these, but a few of you guys have a valid way you're doing it. I just want to show you. If you want to, you can always make 2 separate cases. Then you have to memorize, and there's an interesting way to do it. This is less than, right? It's less than. So when you see less than, it's an and. So you'd say like x minus 2 is less than 5. Now the huge mistake that a lot of people made is what has to happen in the second case. Greater than negative 5. Yeah, you introduce a negative, you better flip that inequality. So a lot of people just left it there. Me, weird ass me, I would just go take this and write negative 5 less than x minus 2 less than 5. I just like that because it's more efficient, but I understand you want to kind of keep it one case, the other case. And if you want to keep it that way, you have to memorize less than is the and. So of course greater than would be the or. Yeah, what is it? Great Tor. I like it. I have great Tor. So then be x minus 2 greater than 5 or x minus 2 less than negative 5. Okay. Let you absorb that. You guys with me? I mean, if you look at that number 2 in the quiz, some of you guys just were like, let me just do the problem directly. Forget about the second case. Those absolute values symbols have to do something. You can't just go, oh, they're just there. Let me take them away. Jeff just put these down here by accident. There's always 2 cases with absolute value anythings. Right? Maybe one case doesn't give you an answer, but you don't know that until you write it and solve it. So you got to have the 2 cases. Are you guys? Does that make sense? You guys with me? I mean, guys, can anybody tell me why are there 2 cases for absolute values? Why? Absolute value is something can't be a negative, but you mean like the inside. So tell me, absolute value of what is 7? Negative 7 or 7, right? So Since the output can be the same for two different inputs, that's why there are two cases when I don't know what the input is. There are two different valid things it could be. That is why there's always two cases with absolute value problems. That's it. That's why. And again, I told you going in, and I don't want you to lose faith in the absolute value function. But personally, I kind of hate that it exists. It's an evil little thing. It's got two things it does. It's not one thing it does. It does two different things. But it is a very efficient way to write those two things. So I like that part of it as a math person. Or just as a person, really. All right. So where else you guys want to focus on? Anything you want to... You're like, I'm just trying to be my happy place, Jeff. Yes?
So the test is in here tomorrow?
Yes.
It's not in
As always. Quizzes in the lab, test in here. Yes? 2B. Spare you the stupid Hamlet jokes. Oh, well, that's the answers for it. All right. So 2B starts off looking very uninviting. Now, why can't I just stop and say, well, that's a negative, so it's going to be some freaky answer, so I'm not going to do any work. Why can't I do that? Why can't I? Second? Yes. There's some other crap in front of the absolute. I haven't got the absolute value by itself yet. I can't do that. So what's the very first thing I should do? I think I just like the screen better. It's always a closer screen. Yeah, I want to do it again. I want to do what?
Subtract 3.
Subtract 3. I love it. Some of us add 3, which is neat. That's 6 if I do that. So I got to subtract 3. So we get negative 5. Greater equal to negative 15. Yep, divide by negative 5. And like Mark said, that's got to flip. It's trying to be a 10. Are you guys with that first step? I mean, any absolute value equation and equality, the first thing you got to do is make sure the absolute value is by itself, because then the idea kicks in. If I have the absolute value greater than, less than, equal to something, there's an idea I can apply. And then, of course, what idea do I apply here? It depends on which way you want to do it. I get a feeling that most of you would like to do this two separate cases. What's the situation? What word in the middle? What word is in the middle? And, less than, right? So I'd get, what's the first case?
less than or equal to or greater than or negative.
I like it. That's my two cases. I love it. Is that all right so far? And then you just solve each one of those. So I mean, I don't know. I guess I did sort of skip some steps, maybe. You do eventually get, so like here, subtract 10, divide by negative 7. That's where you get that from. Is that cool? Be really careful. I don't care that this came from cases and I had to switch the sign. It doesn't matter. I divide by negative, I better switch the sign no matter what. And over here, something similar is going to happen. I'm just going to get a worse number. Divide by negative 7. I get x less than or equal to 13/7. Good job, Pastor Jeff. Is that cool so far? It's an and. It's an and, so what should the picture possibly look like for the most part? I mean, there's weird situations, but it should look like sandwich. I like our sandwich. Sandwich is just a really yummy sandwich. Right? So some of you guys might say, well, I'm going to call this a sandwich then, because this ain't tasting good. I understand. So it's greater than or equal to 1. Now please, dear God, 13/7 is bigger than 1. I guess some of you guys putting like -2 here, -4 there. I'm like, oh, okay. It's concerning. There's got to be less than or equal to this, and greater than or equal to that. There's my sandwich. Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. Sorry. I can't see that far back. Yeah, so this time I flipped it because it's part of how I rewrite the cases, right? And then as I work these two, is that cool? The cases always have me flipping that second sign because it's introducing a negative. And then as I solve these, any inequality I solve, I don't care where it came from, I've got to flip the sign if I divide or multiply by negative. So 5 minutes, guys. I hear a lot of wrestling. Not wrestling, it's rustling. I mean, and then interval notation will look like what? I mean, it's on the answer key, but interval notation looks like that. It's crazy. You guys, I just want to check in with you in a couple things. You guys know that in the Math Study Center itself, they have computers. I think some of you guys realize that. I see some of you in there. So don't say, well, I can't go to the Math Study Center, my crazy teacher has online homework. Well, they have freaking computers in there. So you can sit down, log in, work on your homework. You might leave and never ask anybody anything because you were able to do everything, but it's good to be somewhere you can raise your hand and somebody's right there. It's crazy. I have a computer in my office. Isn't that nice? And I can pull up Math Lab. You can log in if you on my computer, whatever the shit, and show me whatever problems. It's crazy. Isn't that crazy? What an age. Yes.
Oh, I wasn't switching the sign.
Oh. Yeah. Yeah, you're not alone in that. How you guys doing? Are you guys okay? You got any more questions about anything? All right, so I remember that quiz I just gave you back. The corrections are due tomorrow, because I'm evil. Ooh, look at that.
Oh, I couldn't see the top.
I'm sorry. Tell Sean we're good. Sean, it's on the answer key I gave out.
Something at the top.
Only if I say that. If I just say solve, do whatever. You don't have at least one problem to solve the So watch this. We throw a y on this line. Here's a y on this line, right? Where are the y's smaller? Where are the y's smaller? Isn't that y bigger? Isn't this y bigger than that one? Where are the y's smaller than this one? Down here. Yeah. And, you could always, if you put 0, 0 in, which one are we doing? Is 0 less than 0 minus 2? Is 0 less than -2? No, we don't change in the direction of something that doesn't work. You should, yeah, I like it. Oh, let's see. Oh, it doesn't match with this. That's the right answer, but it's not. This shouldn't be the answer based on it says greater than that. See the arrows pointing that way? So you got the right answer, but based off of the wrong thing. You should. You see what I'm saying? That doesn't match with this. How do you graph x greater than -5? You would shade up. So why did you do this if that's what you got? Okay. So that does end up being right, but this is wrong, which really means this should have been. I would have been a little bit happy if you would have just shaded up, because that's what you found. But I think you kind of knew what it was supposed to look like, so you forced it to look like that way, right? Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, I do. Let me see.